of Hendels and Jon Snow waiting.
Yeah, so that will be coming up after this for sure. But there we go. Let's hop into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Copa America. And I have, oh dear, the game heart overlay on. That will have to get rectified for afterwards. Sorry. This is where we just make fun of Rifkin's production value. But hopping into the intros here, after a little bit of a delayed start time, we are ready to get right into it. So spawning here in the top right corner of the map, it's none other than the Blue Zerg player from the Chaos Latin Gamers clan. Say that 5 times fast. It is Jimrising.
From KLG 1064, I don't know. Oh, on the bottom left, as the red Protoss player, it is EG's Huck.
I just heard N64, and that, like, one phrase, immediate nostalgia, like so many different video games.
Who's your favorite? Pokemon Snap? Yeah, I love that game too.
That game was okay. I never did, like, the secret stuff. Like, I was never that guy who figured out you throw the ball at Jinx to turn into, like, a Ditto until, like, I was already done with the game. I don't know how people figured that stuff out. No, dude, it was all about Donkey Kong and Mega Man 64, yo.
Whatever.
Mega Man Legends.
But, like, Pokemon Stadium, I freaking love that game. I was so good at the minigame.
That game was like Monopoly. No, that game was like Friendship Enders, what that was. Because you'd invite someone over to play, and they would just like, stand attack you over and over and over again. And you're like, well, we're done being friends. It's nice knowing you.
Okay, so here, I never actually played the Pokemon Stadium part, you know, like where you picked two like teams and you fought each other. I always played the minigames, so I always forget that that's kind of, I guess, like that was the point of the game.
Yeah.
Just to be like Pokemon trainers, whatever. I don't even know. It's all about the Clefairy like memorization song of the Sandshrew Dig game. Ah, yes.
Okay, well, we got a pull first game ahead of Jimrising. Nothing early, so it's not get 10 pull. Just simply choosing to go pull first versus Huck. Now, normally you're like, oh, well, this guy just wants to play safe. He's worried about cannons or aggression, and rightfully so, because Huck has shown both cannons and aggression in not one but 2 seasons of Copa America. The other thing, too, though, is this does play into the fact that he likes his lings. Early game, late game, Jimrising's the guy to go for melee upgrades over range weapon upgrades every single time.
Yeah. Well, he's not getting a gas, which he was doing, you know, yesterday. Last night. That's what I was trying to say. And he's actually holding off on us. So he might just be going for this, you know, relatively quick third. So it's already a bit different. That's say he's never played like a macro game, you know, because there always is the opportunity to go into the mid game being very aggressive with Hydra into Muta. And maybe that is what we're going to see here too. But, I mean, usually you like to take control of the map and he would get gas and speed pretty quickly.
A little bit awkward dance here with the probe, realizing the slings just wanted to scout and they were after him. Turned around, but
has he ever gotten? He's done lots of weird things. I mean, we saw like a Leonidas worm. We saw
slow Leonidas worm too. Let's never forget. I think this
was it slow
for Jim. Not last night, but like in general.
Right, not last night. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But I was wondering if, you know, if you ever threw down just like 4 gases and teched up the lair on 2 bases. But yeah, it is going to be that quick third. It's actually a pretty standard opener because we what?
I do kind of wish he would have taken it to that location. And it's nitpicky, but I like the diligence of players who want to play that late game better, stronger, safer.
I feel like Jimrising is never really a late game player. He's either an early or a mid game. Which, you know, we don't usually hear like a mid game player term used a lot. We either hear like early game, which is a nice way to say that they cheese, or they all in. Or we hear a late game player, which is a nice way to say that they turtle. So, like, to say like...
Only actually you get in to scout everything here. That's
yeah, of course. Reasons. Seeing the front with well, actually he didn't see the forge, so I guess that's one thing he did not get to see. Although is he coming? No, he's gonna die.
But at this point, the forge hardly that big of a deal. The Stargate, that would have been a really nice scout. So looks like Huck may just go for Oracle opener. Although I gotta give it to Huck. People joke around, you know, the whole top 3 control, blah blah blah. But realistically speaking, here Huck does have good control, and I wouldn't mind seeing Phoenixes be the choice. They do lead to that really nice, I guess, control of the game. It's not that they themselves will necessarily guarantee a lot of damage, but it guarantees Jimrising is going to go Hydralisks into Vipers, and if Huck's more comfortable playing that style, he gets to pick that direction. But, you know, 8 out of 10, it's an Oracle.
Jimrising getting a little bit of an early Roach Warren, so maybe a little afraid of any type of aggression. Of course, the Zealot is not really a lot of aggression whatsoever, but he could have been, you know, Huck could have easily been following up with like I don't know, a couple of gateways. And of course, Jimrising, he has seen that forge now. He scouted with something, and you know, I doubt he was actually expecting a 4-gate aggression. But I mean, he might actually want to go into roaches. I think we saw on Overgrowth last night Ling Hydra into Roach Hydra. It's just like, you know, you started off this whole cast, like, you know, raising him up as like an aggressive guy, and he's doing something that's completely normal right now.
Yeah. Huck did manage to snipe off a drone or two. It wasn't that too bad with that Zealot. Got value for it, but I'm still waiting to see. I mean, this gases came down so late for Jim.
Yeah.
I'm really curious just which tech path he's going to dedicate to here. Because I mean, part of me, like, in the back of my mind, I'm just going like scream mutas, because it's Deadwing, right? But at the same time, mutas aren't good for head-on engagements. They're great for harass. Do you really want to play that sort of game for the long map that Deadwing is?
Yeah. Of course, the problem with doing anything else besides mutas on Deadwing is that the Protoss player has such an easy wall off. You know, they have this wall at the natural, and their third is even easier to hold. It's up a ramp. So there's no really good way to bust them or, you know, punish them for an early third base with roaches or Roach Hydra.
That's a sick watchtower. Jimrising, by the way, sees the Oracle just barely.
Yeah, it's going to be so important.
Huck's got an interesting wall going here too. Rather than put all the gateways at the front, he's actually kind of got it closed in a little bit. And I forgot, he was one of the players that does this. We've talked about in the past, where this could be susceptible later on to something like a Ling Flood or even a Roach run by, because he doesn't go for that like 4 gateway wall off.
Yeah. Twilight Council, you know, following it up. Ooh, whoopsie. There we go. Blank.
Premature chronoboostulation.
Yeah. There used to be a time where, like, Charge Out Archon was actually a rather scary thing for Zergs to deal with, but it's so long and gone. It's like, you know, you see a Twilight Council, it's always going to be for Blink opener. Like, most common opener, I'd say for sure. I mean, just Blink in general, I guess, is the most common tech for Protoss nowadays. Blink for you, Blink for them, Blink everywhere.
Yeah,
All matchups.
Like,
it's great.
Oprah, everybody gets Blink. Check under your seats.
Exactly. It's exactly what it's like.
Ooh, almost gets the drone. That would have been really nice.
Denied. It is a Spire, by the way, if you guys aren't watching the production tab. So that Roach Warren was not used past just like emergency defense. I don't think he got the Roach speed.
Look where it's coming down.
Oh, cool. Cool. So while, of course, being able to scout the Spire, Lucent, Phoenix is absolutely ideal, there are still ways to, you know, it's not just, you know, it's not going to be like a build order win because Huck isn't going to scout this. It is just going to be a lot more difficult to not take that initial, like, damage, you know? When the mutas first run in, they can get either, like, you know, 10 probes or, like, an entire probe line in between.
This is going to work out really interesting. So basically what's going to happen here for Huck, his late game goal, you know, get massive amounts of Blink Stalkers, get level 3 weapon upgrades, be able to, you know, blink and pick off Mutalisks. That's fine. But what he's not going to be able to do is deal with the Lings. And if the Lings come in like crazy quantity, even if you blink out of them, I mean, they're such cheap units and they're very quick. Replacing them and getting them across the field is not going to be an issue. But there was a game, I guess, recently, and we're not seeing this right now, but Slivko, he actually went really fast in Festers. I always forget, like, 3 fungal growths will crush a Sentry army, like, if you catch them. And it was something that worked really well in his ZVP. He actually wanted to go for StarCraft, like, almost 3 games in a row, just back-to-back, going fast in Festers. So I'm not sure if Jim's got that in his back pocket, but it would be cool to see.
Well, Huck is moving out here. He does have a lot of gateways off the back. This, of course, it's not necessarily an all-in. He does have other gas because he's getting a robo behind it. But he's looking to do something. Of course, if Ling swamped him, he could always Mothership, you know, recall. But if Mutas got on top of that Mothership beforehand, I'm not sure this army would really survive. It just looks like Jimrising, though, is going to go for a complete counterattack.
And this is something where I think he can win a base trade in this scenario. Huck might just have to recall. He'll probably snipe off a third and recall or something, but I mean, it's so much more here. I mean, the army supply is bigger, that's whatever through numbers, but it's the fact that Lings chew through buildings pretty nicely. Now, he doesn't have level 2 weapon upgrades or anything like that, but also no hole in this wall, or rather a large hole in this wall. These stalkers get wrecked immediately.
God, Huck is just going for the complete base race, but you know, he wasn't.
Jim, get these Lings in, man. What are you doing? There's so many Lings up here.
He doesn't have a probe in his army. I mean, does he? Like,
oh, you know what, though? Jim still got this building, too. Huck's going to clear out everything, and then, like, where's that last building at? I mean, I guess it'll get revealed eventually, but there we go. Does get those extra Lings involved with the fly. Does recall as predicted after sniping off that third, but still with a fourth. Under a small amount of siege, but, man, Huck has lost so many probes to this. He's down to 4 workers, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to win. I mean, it seems like it ended so abruptly. You know, Huck looked like he was in control because he seemed to be patient. You know, okay, I'm going to cut off the third, and then I'm going to recall, but as we can see, with only 3 probes left, that obviously was not the best option.
You know, Jim can lose every Zergling here and then run the Mutalisks out alive. Yeah, exactly what he's going to do. And he comes out monstrously far ahead. This is just insane. This was such a good attack. 2 probes remain. One's mining gas. Where's the other?
Hey,
Oh, he's in the middle of nowhere. Great.
oh, he's gonna be picked off then, right? Like, I can't think of a way that Huck wins. I mean, maybe his army is still better, and Jimrising makes the mistake of taking an engagement.
He's got one health and he lives.
Well, thank God that probe lives. Now Huck really has a chance.
Just say it. It's the 1 HP hype factor. One
Oh,
probe,
man.
1 HP. This is the difference. This is like, oh my god, this is extinction is what it is. He can't actually build another probe yet.
Huck has to like attack and hope to God that Jimrising has a really good army. But the problem is that Jimrising, should he not have a good army, just like gives up his fourth and goes back to these spine crawlers.
That's the thing. Jimrising kind of went for this weird. It's hard to call it an all-in. It kind of became an all-in very quickly. But like even with the spine crawlers here for defense, he has to overwhelm a stalker army. Is the thing. You can't just come at this with even numbers and hope to win. Even the mutalisks aren't that good. Sniping the oracle.
Jimrising looking to just take care of the last nexus, it looks like, with these lings.
Yeah, I like this choice too, because I mean those spine crawlers are going to be so difficult to chew through. Huck's going to kill them, but like with maybe 5 stalkers remaining.
Yeah. Well, one thing he could do. Never mind, he lost his oracle. Yeah, and he never had an observer on this boat either. I was gonna say he could blink past them up onto the high ground, but oh no, he could still hallucinate a phoenix and do that. Like it sounds like a joke, but that is one way he could do more damage. It's still not game-ending damage.
But if he does this, he loses the effect of having any sentries involved. I mean,
he would have to like he just blink stalkers next to the sentries if they want to keep them alive.
GG. Game number 1 will go to Jimrising, and this, for me, at least right now, is a bit of an upset for it to start like this. Now, Huck has certainly got the potential and will likely turn this around. Get that 3-1. But, not to get Jimrising out, but this is just a fantastic start for him. I would never, if you would ask me, like, much as I love Jim, and you guys definitely know I love Jim with how much I praise him on this cast, I would never have seen him taking the first game off of Huck. So it's a great start for any of the Chaos Latin Gaming fans out there.
2 things. I did that thing where I tweeted a song and suddenly a Twitter called Songs Lyrics follows me.
Love when that happens.
Anyways, second of all, I actually got a donation, and it's like I think the first donation I've ever gotten on a Copa America stream.
Oh.
So cool, but thanks, Benjamin. $40. Ooh,
Wow.
I'm gonna buy myself a pony.
Nice.
A My Little Pony.
Please
Just kidding.
don't. There's like a
I don't-
million times.
I'm not. I'm not
A billion ways you could spend that money better.
Oh, what if I was a My Little Pony collector? All right, I got like 2 friends that are legitimately My Little Pony collectors. So.
Oh, you know what? I think the same guy donated to me as well. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I don't know why, because I've still got my bot running. Like I always had the bot running 24/7. I don't know why it didn't give me a notification. But what is this? Gorther? Yeah. Thank you very much, man. Oh, actually, I guess he just did it because the bot just picked up on it. So I was checking to make sure that he actually got partoofs for this. I'll manually add another 4,000 for, of course, what he gave you. So thank you very much, sir. I take my hat off to you. But that all being said, we are hopping into map number 2, Overgrowth. And man, Jim played the way I expected Jim to play. Huck didn't really play the way I expected Huck to play. I think that's how I described that last game.
Yeah, there wasn't any like mass gateways involved. Ha. JK. But it was Dead Wing, so if there was a map where Huck was going to take it, try and do a macro game, that was going to be it. I really wish we'd really pay attention, because I know we talked about it, like who's saying Phoenix scouting that spire or not. But I didn't even I wasn't even watching his army. Because it seems like such a dangerous thing to do if you're going to push out like that, and it's a very common push out. It's not like because you do always have that recall if there's like a Roach Hydra army or a Mastling army that you just recall back home, but. The one thing that make it dangerous would be like the spire and the muted counterattack. You should really, I'd assume that you'd always do it before you attacked like that, but I'm not sure if he did.
Well, the total map order for this, by the way, guys, we finally did get that. By the third map will be Nimbus, should we go to it, followed by Catalina, and last but not least would be King Sejong, should it come down to the ace match. Do you see these new the new icons they're giving for like subscribing to WCS, by the way?
I did.
That's kind of interesting. I didn't know. I wonder how they're gonna link that. Like, do they just send a code to your Twitch account and like redeem this on the BattleNet page, or? Because I mean, my Twitch account, it's not the same name as my BattleNet ID.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, looks like everybody's just about ready, waiting on what appears to be Huck at this point. There you go, calls the go, 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 go. So this map, by the way, before we even touch the map, I look at this map and I'm definitely thinking Huck's playstyle, I think, is going to work a lot better here. There's a lot more potential for damage, splitting your opponent's attention between your natural and the third. Because unlike most maps, this is one where your third has about, 2.5 entrances to it.
Yeah. Well, this is the map where we saw Desert just got completely picked apart. So. But it's also the map where we saw Jimrising go for a slow lane. Nidus all in, so, either one, really. I'd love to see it again, because it was so cool.
That's the thing. Hang on, before you move further with this point, it's cool. Like, that's the thing about a Nidus Worm. Even when you lose with a Nidus Worm, I sit there, I'm just like, dude, you went for it. I love you. Like,
you tried.
Like, nukes and Nidus Worms, if you guys ever want to get fans in StarCraft2, no matter how bad you are at this game, if you're being cast and you think you cannot win, just go for a nuke or a Nidus Worm, and trust me, everyone will be like, good job, guy. We like you.
It's true. It's true. But besides being cool, what was also cool is just like how it hit, right? Like, I remember casting it and it hit as a 6 gate or something like that was finishing. Like, the gate was like actually just finishing, so they weren't even warp gates yet. And it hit. And I was like, is this like planned? Is this planned? Did he know that he was going to go for a gateway all in and then did the Nidus Worm and knew that it was going to hit right before it? Or is that just, freak coincidence?
I forgot to change off the game right overlay. God. Hang on, I'm going to do that right now before I forget. Or first thing as we get into the game. Man, this is like the only tournament that like uses the old ESL interface. Like, it's still like Copa, people, if you're listening. It's 2014, okay? Where's the ESL WCS interface? There we go. So sadly, you can't change it once you're in game, but it will change for the next game, so you guys will be able to see that. In the meantime, I guess I'll update the score down here so you can see it is actually Jimrising who's up 1-0. Spawning. Speaking of that guy, spawning in the top right corner of the map, it's gonna be the Chaos Latin Gamer himself, the Blue Zerg player, Jimrising.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, it is EG's Huck. Bro, why always gotta be like the last on the list of people to watch camera?
What?
Thing?
Oh, in-game interface thing. Okay, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what did I do now? God.
I'm always like, I skip one
Rifkin,
too.
you're always at the bottom of the chat channel for DreamHack. Rifkin, you're always at the bottom of the camera. Like, can you just cut me some slack?
Why? No, I'm not cutting. It's not your fault. It's just like it's an honest question. Why? Why?
Yeah,
I gotta go like
know.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Actually,
8. Okay.
I am curious like why that does that, because for you, anytime I'm in a chat channel with you, because you're a real ID friend, it puts you right up at the top no matter what.
Oh, well then, aren't you just freaking amazing? And I'm always on top. Hey.
Hey. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe there's some weird thing to checkbox off in the social tab or something. It beats me, but spawning pool first out of Jimrising. Again, this is a pretty regular spawning pool. This isn't an irregular like 9 pool or anything quite so weird. I bring this up though because Huck is going for the Forge first, and this is the map where we saw Huck actually do a lot of cannons from the left side on Overgrowth. I'm not sure if he'll go for it this game, but it's something that it does and will catch people off guard because of just how much everyone forgets the power field extends from the third to the natural. But Jim, are you just going straight for your third? You're like, I'm not even gonna bother with this shenanigans? Okay.
I guess he was checking for a proxy 2 gate. So, this is also the map where we saw Huck try and cannon rush and then get counterattacked with Living Baneling. That would have been awesome to see again. But Huck, seeing that it was a pool first, doesn't use this Forge first with anything.
Just goes for the Nexus back at home. I like this choice though, because, I mean, you can risk it, but it's hard to gauge whether it's ever going to be worth it or not. Sometimes, like, even just 100 minerals for the pylon and 150 for the cannon ends up not being worth it if you're planning for something a little bit further down the line. Like Huck maybe with, again, blank stalkers and +3 weapons, kind of at the core of what he does.
Yep. Although, anytime I was like a Zerg a Zerg player, and you think, well, I went for a pool first, you're not going to do it, and then they do it, I don't know. It always seems to work out if you're the sword player.
That's like reverse logic, though, where it's like, oh, you open with a Stargate, you're never going to go Mutalist. Just kidding, he went Mutalist, like last game.
Oh, right. Actually, I think that's the biggest complaint I've ever heard from Protoss players is like, is that we're just like, oh, I mean, I opened up a Stargate, I'm completely fine against mutas. No, I'm not, and I'm dead. Oh,
Okay.
God. All right.
I gotta bring this up. This is a big deal. He checks the top left corner of the map. This sounds like nothing, and it's actually a big deal because every time we see Huck play, this guy, we joke about his ninja probes, but he's really good at hiding them, and the one place we always see on Overgrowth never gets scouted is a probe hiding way up here.
Every matchup. Every single freaking matchup.
Yeah, like
And,
every time we see him. It's not like something where, oh, I saw this once and I'm like riding it. No, it's like every time on Overgrowth.
Well, most Protoss, like, especially Huck, yeah, sure. But, like, any Protoss player, like, that is where you put your proxy pylon to bring in the Zealot, to kill the third, to, any amount of things. It's very, you're right, it's very annoying, so.
I mean, like, okay, he's good at hiding things, and we all know this, and some Protoss players just, maybe it's not even Huck's that special, but I think it was, like, back when Frost was in the map pool. Like, that's when it just really, like, you're like, wow, he's actually been doing this for a while, but it never caught on, like, how good he was at it, until you realize, like, nobody can catch him most of the time. Not Koreans, not North Americans. He's
like Carmen San Diego.
Right, but I mean, look what he did. He sent another probe while this one was coming back home because he was trying to draw the attention of Jimrising away, right? So it's like, Jim's on top of the ball. He knows who he's playing.
And what's so good about this, too, is that Jimrising did not go for speed automatically. He's getting it. No, he canceled it. Never mind. But he didn't go for speed. If you have speed, you're almost banking on being able to go ahead and catch the probes, catch the proxy pylons as they go down. With slow lings and only 2 of them, you're like giving something up usually. You're either giving them a probe hidden somewhere, a proxy pylon hidden somewhere, or you're not going to be at the front of the base, or at the third, checking if they get a third either. But he's been totally on top of everything so far, as you said, and he's going to be on top of it again. I think that's another probe. Yes, it is. No, never mind. Well, he was going to be.
Well, you know what? Determination does manage to sneak this up here. Because one of the things we've seen Huck be best at, he's going for a lot of gateways right now. Yeah, it's
6 gateways.
His ability to warp in behind enemy lines.
But, Jimrising, are you scouting? No, he is not. It's so sad because it's such an easy scout. There's no stalker. The sentry would have to give up its position blocking this gateway. It's such an easy scout, and he's not going to do it.
It's for me, the diligence early doesn't mean you should stop. You gotta suspect at some point, like, hey.
Whoa. Hey, no.
I was like, what are you freaking out? Oh, okay. I see it.
How is this gonna work? Well, okay, so...
Well, you can't base trade with the Nidus armor, but what you can do is possibly sacrifice the third if this gets under attack. I mean, he's laying the groundwork. He's putting the pipes down. Jimrising, I don't know if he's got all those warp-ins, but he did see at least half of them, so coming back to the defense...
If this was a 2-base Nidus, this would have hit before the gateways like I was talking about earlier. I'm so sad that
he
doesn't Nidus storm on this map.
I think he's still gonna go for it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he should. He should. Like, he sees there's nothing up here. You definitely should.
I like this. Sack the third. This is a good choice. Put some spine cars in the natural. Defend with roaches because it's just zealots. Kite them around. Or eat side blades to the face. It's a lot of zealots to deal with, but that's the thing. Roaches can technically eventually get them. Nice sniper that mothership core, but here comes all of the Zerglings to the main. They've got speed. They're not slow. Huck's got 1 cannon for defense. A couple of force fields might go down, but Jimrising's going to claim this Nexus.
Oh, he can just go back in the Nidus.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the recall comes. He could, but he's not. Ooh. Huck with that quick recall. Good defense here. It's actually nothing to shoot up, though, so hopefully it's not going to get taken care of.
This is so odd. I honestly never can say I've never been in a position where this has come to this point. We also have Huck accidentally going for +1 air armor. I think so useful.
That is actually air armor.
My mothership core is gonna be one beefy mother.
I want to say that's a mistake, but I mean, I'm trying to think.
It has to be a mistake. There's no Stargate. If there was a Stargate,
but like, why would you have started
sure.
this? Like, this isn't a misclick. Like, you build the warp tech and you stop. You never.
You know what's so funny? Again. I had like a 2011 moment. I was like, maybe he meant to research hallucination. Oh wait. Oh wait.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. This is odd. He's even followed up the Stargate. This is going to finish. I think we've cast 1 game before. We've cast 1 game before where someone had +1 like weapons, I think, on their air and never got any air, ever.
Well, you're right. The mothership core could take an extra hit, so it could recall. Save.
Oh, we canceled it within the last like 10 seconds.
Oh, did he? Okay, never mind. I take it back.
Good on ya. Good on ya, Huck.
Alright, doing low because I was wondering if that was going to be for Swarm Host or what that exactly was going to be. But Roaches are going to try and sneak in here. There is no third base to snipe though. Huck is going to turn around nonetheless. So this little army has kind of actually gotten value just in the fact that it kept Huck from killing his third. Because Huck could have just gone across the map, and let's be honest, with this force, wrecked a third base, no problem.
Absolutely. So it's very key that this happened. It looks like Huck is going. What?
When that Nidus spawned, I didn't hear the cry.
Yeah, you know, I didn't hear it either.
It's like it's like sometimes we don't hear scans when Game Heart's on. I wonder if that's a bug with this or something.
Well, I really hope that Huck heard it.
Well, he must have. There's some weird things that have.
Whoa, was that me? No.
No.
I was about to say.
I'm having a heart attack here because I already explained to you about my internet issues from before.
It just took so long for his screen to come up. I was just like, whoa.
Right? That was like 3 seconds of hang time. I'm like, well, I'm done. Like,
we're out.
Well, sadly, poor Mosca here. I'm not sure. I hope that's not the streamer for one of the other streams. Maybe just a commentator so they can keep streaming the game. Oh, Jim, you troll.
What?
Because he's trying to be like, oh, you're gonna go plus one zealots, I'll go ultras, but really, it's Swarm Hosts. Man, this is like, this is hardcore theory crafting. Like, what beats what? But yeah, third base, what they should have said was like lots of units versus no units. Kills a third, I guess. I don't know math. Back at home, though, Huck did put some extra cannons down. 3 cannons is actually going to be more than enough for the defense here. As long as he doesn't let it in. No, the force fields!
Well, that's funny, too, but there's also no observer, so...
Oh, that's going to be an annoying problem. Looks like, wow, that Swarm Host actually lives with 2 health. The problem with Swarm Host is, well, they're good, and everyone's going to be like, ew, Swarm Host, they're free units, blah, blah. When there's only 1 or 2 out, they're not very good. They're not even that effective. Locusts do decent damage, but they get picked off so quickly because they don't have a lot of health. Good force field on the main ramp. There's actually not a lot of units coming from the main. They're all coming from what was the third. What I'd love to see Jim do, yo, how's it going to be to get like a Nidus room in the natural just to put everything back to the main?
I was thinking it, right?
What's going on?
They don't have space. So, I mean, if the Locust could in some universe clean his entire army up, that's great, but a Mothership Recall is still handy. He's still, you know, force building it off, and he's going to get 2 bases and lose none.
They can recall still.
Yep. You can believe a lot in Swarm Hosts, but I don't know if I believe this much.
If you could somehow have gotten a Nidus from now and they've been able to apply like 2-prong pressure from this, maybe. But as we see, Huck's double producing. It's not 1 Colossus, it's 2 Colossus at a time. I don't know if you just knew this was coming, if you had the foresight for it, but that second robot actually didn't get caught in production. So having a second robot this early is kind of insane, unless you're coming up against precisely this.
Yeah. He slapped it down as soon as he saw that first Swarm Host, the one that died. So really good reactions here from Huck. And Huck, I mean, he's just... It's almost guaranteed he's going to win this game right now. Apparently the Inquisition was also focused, so he has to remake that as well. And I mean, Swarm Hosts can buy you a lot of time. They're kind of like tanks in that aspect, where they can buy you like, you know, 10, 20 army supply that you should have had and bring you back into a game, but Huck's going to have like, well, he's already at 40 supply, you know, army supply ahead, so.
Sadly, these Lings will not get the base or really anything for it. Jim's just going to tap out, and I don't blame him for that. That was a situation where he was too far behind, so GG. Score now tied up 1-1. Okay, so that was a little bit more what I expected. Not that Jimrising would go for the Nidus Swarm and get caught off guard and all these other things, but more like Huck's aggression, Huck's sneaky probes. Like, that was every bit of the way the Huck we kind of were looking for in that game, number 1.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be like the Rough versus Hendula series, where it's like the guy we didn't think was going to get the first game, and we're like, oh, maybe this will be actually like, you know, really close, and the other person just like, slam! No!
Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Oh, man, I want to listen to Space Jam now.
What's that Space Jam? Yeah,
exactly.
Space Jam song.
But it's not Copa America music, so I can't use it. I need to get that that thing that lets you listen to music, but like the stream can't hear it. Because, yo, my cat's gonna be so dynamic if I'm just listening to Space Jam the whole time.
Stereo mixer on the... I know what you're talking about. I tried using that thing, by the way, the thing you're talking about, the application. So difficult. I imagine it's a lot easier if you actually see the plugs, you know? But it's hard to like visualize it.
I still want to do a cast one day where we mute the in-game sound and I just play like the Warcraft 2 soundtrack in the background. So much better than StarCraft music, in my opinion. Actually, you know what would be cool? If StarCraft, like, this would be impossible to do, but it'd be so cool if they could tailor it so the StarCraft music picks, like, the faster and the heavier stuff when APM rises or engagements happen or something. Because it's, like, so dumb when we start a game and it's like, dun 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 dun, and it's just, like, probes mining, but then the first engagement comes down and it's just, like, this music that's currently playing, like, the somber background, just boring StarCraft music. Because there is some really good music for StarCraft 2, but it never times out to be epic and awesome.
You'd have to like get the guys to do those video games that all are music based, you know?
Hmm?
Do you know those games at all? I've never actually played them, which is why I can't recall any names right now. But they're entirely like music based, you know? They're all about like the music syncing up with like the visuals in the game, or like how you perform in the game.
I have no idea what you're referring to, but that sounds cool. That's kind of what I was yearning for here.
Yeah, well, they look really, really awesome if you see like trailers for it. They just look psychedelic and everything. So you hire those guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll just go with a yes. Yes with a smile.
You know, Titan, the thing that just got canceled for Blizzard.
Yeah, dude. From what I understood, that was actually kind of looking to be somewhat like a Destiny type thing.
I don't really know anything about Destiny, so I don't know about that. But like, you know, they mentioned that they was it that they brought on people who worked on The Sims, or like the Sims like engine, because like you were supposed to be able to interact with the CPUs that came to your shops.
I know zero things about Destiny or like Titan or whatever the project that was canceled was called.
I just read the one article that was like, here's what Titan was supposed to be, so I kind of know what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember like. To be honest, I've been more stoked for like WoW housing than anything else. That's all I've really been paying attention to for Warlords of Draenor.
Girls, am I right?
Hey.
God, Rifkin.
Yo, I'm gonna have the sickest barracks. Alright, whatever. Nimbus, ladies and gentlemen. Starting right now. Jimrising straight in this game with Huck. F, you're good. And well, I wouldn't disagree with that statement. Thanks for commentating in English. Thank you, Fat Noir, for watching in English. I suppose. I think I recall should have a longer cast time. Oh, I think recall should have a longer cast time. Okay, I misread that. I don't think so. Recall's had some clutch moments where it's like, oh, that thing didn't die. What do you know? But okay, getting out of Twitch chat and back into the game, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Copa America. This is the semifinals for Season 3 underway. The other semifinals match will be a ZVZ with Jon Snow versus, Jon Snow versus Hendrix. Sorry, I had to take a moment there and consider which Zerg player it was, but we're currently tied up 1-1 in this series. It's a best of 5, so we still got a couple games to go. And spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, it's going to be KLG's blue Zerg player, Jimrising.
Yep, right as the red Protoss. EG's Huck.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you right now. Using that game hard overlay, getting actual information on the screen in front of you.
Oh.
Tell me more about your life. 'Cause I'm
well,
just jealous.
I can see how many workers are killed when I hover over this thing.
Ooh.
Oh, tell me more. Tell me more.
I have to press a hotkey for that. Control R. Working skilled. Wrecked. But, okay, so we just had a little bit of joking chat. I'm the gateway guy. I'm the all-in guy. The Huck is. And it's something that he shows a lot of, but it's because it works. There's rare situations where Huck doesn't get wins out of gateways. And,
GSL. Cough. What?
Oh, shots fired from like forever ago.
I know,
Let's
right?
just go blow some dust off of that book. Anyways, my point I was getting at though is we have seen him actually play late games. We've seen him go for Robotech. It's not that it's out of his wheelhouse, but again, two things you guys have to consider. One, if gateways can work with their timings, just go for it. A win's a win. Who cares? You want to win Copa America. You don't want to impress the audience. The other thing too, and we mentioned this before, bring it up again, he's got to play against Hyun very soon. in WCS. And Hyun in the past has been known for being one of the guys who actually does his homework on his opponents, who looks at VODs. It wouldn't be difficult for him to hear that, oh, Huck's playing Copa America against the Zerg, let's look what's going on. And if you can just show gateway all-ins and nothing else, Hyun's really going to learn nothing from that at all. So there is a little bit of outside factor when it comes to this series.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we talk about hiding builds sometimes, and it really is irrelevant, but I feel with like how close WCS America is, and how big of a deal it would be for Huck to beat Hyun. I mean, it's something that definitely needs to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, I just, Hyun... What? Wait a minute. Was it... I feel like it might have been Hyun, actually. He was talking about Huck and how he actually respects him as a player, but I may be thinking of another, like, Korean/foreigner trio, pair, rather, for WCS. Because like, if you heard those two names nowadays, you'd be like, oh, Hyun probably thinks he's gonna win. let's be real here. But I think he actually really likes Huck and thinks that he's kind of a scary opponent.
Just side note, Hyun's still like probably my favorite person I've met in real life. At the one of 2 whole events I've ever been to.
He bought me a delicious double chocolate frappe or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but it was delicious.
I got it again. I found out what it was called, so I think if I saw it, I would be thinking it is double chocolate something. But it was delicious.
Okay.
Anyways, 4 gateways on, well, 3 gateways with an extra one already done on the way for Huck here, so he's going to apply a little bit of aggression.
A bitty bit. This isn't so crazy and out of the ordinary though. I mean, you've got a very secure natural base on Nimbus. You can afford to make a move like this without it being too dedicated. I mean, if you go for a 4-gate, the thing is, it's not until you've warped in 16 units that it's really that big of an all-in. If you've only got about like 6 or 7 zealots warped in, yeah, you're looking to do damage, but you're not screwing yourself out of economy and upgrades by doing so.
Well, here's something interesting on Jimrising's side. He got 2 gases just a little bit earlier than you would in his build, but no third. If you're going to go for a gasless build, you expect to get a third and then 2 gases, 3 things later than he got them. So I'm thinking maybe a little, some other type of shenanigan build, The last game, he looks to open up the same and then did the Nidus, which is quite surprising. But it seemed like it was a bad timing for that Nidus. I brought it up last game how it was almost like that slow lane all-in that we saw come right before Gateway all-in, but he got a third, so ended up not hitting at that right time. Now, it's not going to be the case here either, as he is getting 2 Evo chambers.
Alright, a little bit of obnoxiousness going here in the natural Jimrising. Snipes off a drone, drives another one away.
So I
Not
guess
the
it's going to be
biggest of
double,
deals,
double upgraded links
but...
on 2 bases.
We've
Yeah,
seen
it's
this
gotta be,
work
right?
in situations where you're killing buildings, less about killing armies. I do like that he got the +1 carapace though. We'll talk about the weapons here in a moment, but because Huck's also getting his Forge out, will most likely also have a +1. There's a few things in StarCraft2 called critical upgrades, guys, or referred to rather as critical upgrades because they're not officially called that, but this is one of them. The dynamic of a Zealot taking 2 shots versus 3 shots to kill a Zergling is like having an insane attack speed boost. So by getting his carapace upgrade out, he's going to make sure that does not happen. And let's not forget, Huck did do +1 Zealots last game. It's not at all crazy to assume he'd do it again.
It's just like... Well, we have seen from this, and in fact, I think it was Sockscree, maybe? Or maybe it was True. Who did the old, like, fast ultra build. Remember? It was, like,
True, it was True who did that.
Okay.
True did the ultra leagues.
So yeah, True. Because there was a time where, like, it was a very common go-to build in back in the day, but it really fell off. But it, he brought it back. It's something that you can't have in your back pocket.
I just realized I could have answered that question in such an obnoxious way. You'd be like, was it Saxory? False. It was True. Wait,
yeah,
what?
you could have.
What?
Thank God you didn't. Anyways. Anywho.
But
Lots of links on the way, but speed is not quite finished. I mean, it looks to be wanting to really take down this third. It just has to wait 30 seconds. Or attack with slow links.
Well, I mean, the +1 also on the way for Huck. So, I mean, good predictions being made out of Jimrising right now. But he's going to see these sentries, and he's at least going to bait out force fields, because if Huck doesn't force field, he loses sentries.
The slow lane is so not scary.
It's like a baby tiger. You're like, this thing could be deadly later.
Yeah, but it's so cute. Yeah, so now it's a little more deadly. He's gonna get 1 sentry, 2 sentries looks like, yeah. That's it though. I mean, I feel like you would really have wanted to gotten a cancel on that third.
But here's the thing. Okay, so he loses a lot of links for this, and he's actually got more links coming in. But he baits out the overcharge. Okay, that's cool. He heals a couple sentries. That's fantastic. And then on top of this, there's no energy left. So Huck can no longer do this big gateway attack push.
This is interesting. He's getting a Templar Archives before a Robo. I mean, seriously, like a Templar Archives any time before what you'd call the late game is actually kind of surprising in a PvZ. So he's going to go for that Charge Out Archon style that I had mentioned had really fallen out of favor, like, you know, so old. That's cool. It's like I'm good at, like, you know, I don't know. Never mind.
Well, I want to see what this infestation fits for. This could very well be for Stormhouse. I mean, it's just an easy move, but I would love to see Ultras. That'd be super cool. It'd be actually super extra funny on account of the fact that okay, it's Locust, never mind. But on account of the fact that you were, during that lag screen in the last game, he was talking about like, oh, you went +1 Zealots, I should have done Ultras.
I was thinking about that too, but Huck is gonna go for Charger Archon as a competition opener, and that's just.
Okay, so this for me has got a little bit of resonating like smiley face on it because Huck has always been an alright player. You know, there's players you like because they're good, but I never really like loved Huck until there was like a dream hack where I think it was versus Red. I can't remember who his opponent was, but he went Charged Out Archon. It was the most glorious thing I'd ever seen.
Yo, Charger Archon was one of the scariest competitions ever when it was really popular in the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. You looked at that army that came toward you and you were just like, what do I even do against this? I'm gonna die. And you almost, you know, always did. You're not a pro player. Yeah, as a pro player, they would do kiting, they would get concaves, they would get up to fungals also. But as like a non-pro player, you're just like, okay, I'm dead. And then you died. So Huck is gonna push out here with this, and I'm very interested to see how this is gonna work against Blink Stalkers. Usually, when we see an attack that hits before before Swarm hosts get into a big number, it's because they have Blink Stalkers. That's what I was trying to get at. But now it's not going to be something that's maneuverable. It's going to be Archon Charge Lot. That's as pretty brute force you can get.
Yeah, we just saw fast that Archon gets popped. Don't forget, guys, Locusts have about the same DPS as a Hydralisk, so when you consider Hydralisk shut down most gateway attacks, this isn't too far off base from what's currently available. The Locusts they attack so quick. The downside is they got very minimal range, so force fields can block them out, but the other thing is they also don't have a lot of health, so this army is brute forcing is not very upset through it.
The counterattack is attempted by Jimrising, but there was a hole. Well, he might just make a hole here.
Nah, he fills that in. Huck is paying attention. Segments a couple more Zealots off here towards the main. The Locusts are going to split their attention quite drastically, actually, so he gets completely force fielded out of this. Gonna lose the hatchery. Should be able to save the drones, but the question is how much damage can these Zealots in the main do? And it looks like not a lot. So both players do some decent damage, but nothing insane. I mean, Jimrising did pick up some probes through this. Lost all of his links for it, though. At the same time, lost a third back at home.
Yeah, so pretty awkward right now. You know, again, usually it's Blink Stalkers, and they get a couple Swarmos, they get a third, and they leave, and you would have a Robo behind it as well. And Huck, you know, he certainly has Robo coming down now. He has actually gone up to double Robo and just immediately in a double War Prism once by. A lot of time they'd be able to get that Robotics Bay, which is something he was sorely missing by not having a Robo for so long.
Yo, I'm sorry, I got 2 Warp Prisms not go. I had 3 Warp Prisms! I had to bring this up. But also a pylon that's been unscouted by Jim so far. Oh, there. He's gonna lose his fourth. That's to cancel
he didn't even use that pylon. He used the other pylon.
Well, but he'll be able to. Like, if he really wants to dedicate this, it'd be not difficult to warp in some more Zealots on top of it. But that triple Warp Prism threat, we've joked about this. Todd is the only other player we've seen do this. But with the extra Warp Prisms, he can go to every base at the same time.
Is that an observer there? Where am I rolling?
I guess he'll kill through splash damage.
There's the observer. Oh my god.
Oh, Jimrising. Jimrising.
Oh. Wow.
The Locusts are choked out,
like,
so they're not even killing that much.
He lost his entire good army. He's following with a Spire, but those Swarm was just supposed to buy a lot more time if he was going to transition. This is almost like when we saw, like, okay, we weren't there, but the Void Ray opener, they just completely blindsided the Swarm host player. You know, he didn't expect to see Void Rays at the timings that, I forget who it was, did, but he just got demolished. It's almost what happened here. He didn't expect Archons to be dropped on top of Swarm hosts and demolish them. Who would?
No, certainly not. So this Warp Prism, I'm really curious to see just how much it does. At the same time, do some amazing production work here. Sorry, guys. Just see a lot of people asking in the chat what the score is. They're trying to remedy that with some MacGyvering. Again,
good production values as he completely misses the fourth being taken down.
Yep, nailed it. Sorry. Double Warp Prism. So the Colossus is out. He actually goes for a recall on this, but there's so many Zealots on this side of the field, and well, actually it just lifts them all up, so he could just carry these over to the natural. The thing about this is, though, and while there are some corruptors coming in to start dealing with this is Huck buying all the time in the world he needs. Like, he's not even in that much danger, but if he was, this is still the time he would need to get those locusts out, to eventually get units out to kill the swarm host and beat back the waves of locusts.
Yeah, now he has 2 Colossus, and well, of course, a couple Archons have been living quite a long time. His ground army really isn't that beefy, but it doesn't seem to matter.
Unloads here into the national, starts warping in as well.
Of course, I guess this corruptor's finally going to end this, but now it just means that Huck can start warping in on his actual army.
Save one of the warp prisms, man. You got like 2 right there. Could have warped all this in. I tried to get an Archon in, sadly has an awkward Templar now that's, I guess, going to look for a feedback, but there's pretty big attack coming his way towards the south. Now, this is kind of scary because there's no Stalkers. I mean, there's 3 Archons, which are usually good against Corruptors, but not like this. Oh, he's going to get...
going to go down. The
yeah,
Colossus are going to go down, too. Oopsie.
I guess the natural for this list is kind of like, I don't know.
Well, I still think Huck's in a really good position here.
Yeah.
So while Jimrising is slowly starting to handle everything, of course, he lost his natural, he lost his 4th as well. So Swarm Host, you can kind of make up for that. It's just that Huck is in such a dominating position. He's in control of the game, he's in control of the pacing, and he knows that Jimrising can't do a counterattack. I mean, the one thing that Huck could have been worried about was a muter transition, but seeing the Corruptors, there can't possibly be that much more money and gas.
No, certainly not. So much awkward here in the main, too. Double Stargates coming as the Void Rays will be coming en route. They'll be good against both the Swarm Hosts and those Corruptors. But the Archons are already dealing just fantastically with this. They almost one-shot each of the Locusts. We'll eradicate the Corruptors that get on top of the Colossus, but these are going to be beaten back. GG is called, and game number 3 will go to Huck.
That was different than the usual Swarm Host games that we saw, and it wasn't because of Jimrising for once. It was because of Huck.
Well, yeah, I mean, just Charge-Let Archon. Let's just talk about that for a moment. That's a build that's like seeing Charge-Let Storm in PvT. It's just not something you see anymore, right?
Yeah, it's probably the best analogy you could make.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, good job there.
Looks like Jon Snow and Hendrilisk have got vetoes set up for their series, but they won't be starting again until we'll be done with this one. But next map for us will be Catalina, so 3-player spawn map. See if Jimrising can bring this back, or if Huck will take the 3.
Nidus on this map, yo.
Yes. This sounds like a silly thing to say, but guys, we've seen like life literally every time on this map when Nidus from ZVZ, ZVP didn't matter. We just saw it non-stop when he played in a tournament of ours not too long ago. We do have to wait for the admins to host. So what we're going to do real quick, guys, we haven't played any ads out yet tonight. We're going to play our first ad break right now. These will probably be short, and we'll turn them off as soon as the game's ready to go. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very soon. Everyone in chat started typing 1, I guess, when I started adjusting the overlay. Hey guys, type 1 if you're stupid. So you staying up all night for your GSL finals?
No, I'm probably gonna wake up. I don't. Oh, that's a good question, man. I don't know anymore.
I mean, are you gonna wait? You know how it's gonna go. Innovation's gonna win.
That's not necessarily true at all. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, when Innovation faced Sulky, everyone was saying that, and actually that was a perfectly good,
it's
reasonable thing to say, because Innovation was like, did you know that when Innovation faced Sulky, he would have to have lost more games in TDZ than he would have lost the entire season of Pro League that year?
Look,
and he did.
It's less about Innovation being good or bad. It's more about Sue being second place.
Oh, you're going for the curse thing. You're not going like, well, Innovation's really good and Sue just hasn't been looking too strong anymore. You're like, no, there's a curse.
Oh, he's got a chance.
Well, you know who cursed Innovation recently?
Was it Artosis?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like that's like 2 negatives. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
You have to hope that Innovation loses. You know that, right?
No.
Because if he loses, Snoot is still in top 16 for BlizzCon.
Oh. Okay, then yes, I am cheering against innovation, 100%. But you guys, we didn't mute ourselves. We know it, so let me just take this break screen off as we hop into what is Catalina. And I will adjust these wonderful scores here at the top in a moment.
Yeah, have you seen the new Korra, by the way?
Seen what, sorry?
The new Korra.
Oh, did the new season start already?
Yeah.
What? Did the last one just finish?
Yeah.
What?
What? Yeah, it's up. You should watch it.
Okay, I will. Thank you for letting me know. I actually legitimately had no idea. Because normally there's like a year between each season. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, welcome back. I don't know why I'm talking snooty, so I'm going to stop as we get into this game. It's 2-1 in the favor of Huck. It's a best of 5 in the semifinals for Copa freaking America. And spawning here in the bottom right corner of the map, it is going to be Evil Genius's Red Protoss Huck. And it's actually just Copa America. I'm pretty sure they don't want me saying Copa freaking America, so...
Number right, as the Blue Zerg, it's Chaos Latin Gamers, Jimrising.
I feel a little bit bad for Jim in this situation. You know, he kind of, I feel, started getting down on himself. Like, he started off 1-0 in the series. You got to imagine his confidence was, like, sky high. The game 2 happens, and, like, we're in the game lobby, and he's just talking about, like, man, Huck, you're so good. There's no way I'm going to beat you. Like, you can't have that mentality. Because, I mean, whether you can or can't beat Huck should be irrelevant. You got to try your best no matter what. And by taking that attitude on, even if it was a joke, it's just like, yo, you're playing against yourself here, man. So I kind of hope he's, like, going to be able to rally in this one. I would love to see us go to the ace match. But at the same time, Huck is just, he's looking so commanding over both these games. I mean, this isn't even a situation where, like, man, it was close. If Jim had just done this slightly different with the Swarm Host, like, Huck just had his number both times.
Yeah.
I think Jimrising too, by the way, like, must be a fan of Fenner with all these Swarm Hosts coming out.
I think it's more like, I don't know if it is this honest, you know, it is what he was planning from the get-go, but if anything fails, it's kind of like, well, I hope Swarmos can bring me back into this game. It's like the infestors of Winged Liberty. Oh, that all in failed? Well, maybe if I get enough infestors, I'll be able to survive till Broodlords, which was certainly something that happened a lot, and it was very, very infuriating. Kind of the same thing with Swarm Hosts. Kind of a desperation move, but Huck showing that he isn't really phased. He was exactly to deal with Swarm Hosts regularly, and especially if he's in a good position.
I just read the best dating advice in Twitch chat, by the way. We've got some pretty funny people here tonight. It's been very hard not to stay in Twitch chat and cast. Someone says, like, yeah, guys, there's a really pretty girl in my college English class, and I don't know what to do. And I'm expecting people to be like, oh, dude, just go ask her out, get some confidence. But shout out to Kids Forever, real talk. Do what you've been doing. Just leave her alone.
Yeah, you guys truly have a great hold on the female psyche. It's amazing.
Oh, I just love that. That's the, like, who would ever say that when you're like asking advice? Like, man, I'm feeling sick. Well,
Are
too
you
bad.
kidding?
Like,
oh, well, I actually thought you were gonna go with like the beta shit, but anyways.
no.
Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Tough love.
Yeah. It's worth noting, by the way, Huck, no sign of a forge. Just went for the gateway expand this time.
Well, there's a forge right there, Brifkin.
Well, I meant forge first, okay? So we weren't gonna have cannons. There was no threat of this, but one of the things here, and this doesn't really dip into anything too important. There were cannons, I guess, yesterday, and some of the things that were discussed in that first game's lobby was, you know, Huck's displeasure of the way things happened with when he went for cannons, and well, I kind of expected to see them in this series, but we haven't seen them at all yet. No, I mean, other than defensively, of course.
Well, he tried that one time, and he was a 15 pool, so. I mean, the only time Jimrising has not gone for a 15 pool is on Nimbus, and of course that's because it's Nimbus.
So I am not a fan of this. I guess the gateway expand, I kind of feel like Huck's going to be very... Like, if he sees this, like, if he's like, oh, you took a third, really? Like, oh, thank you for giving me the free win. Because, I mean,
well,
a third on Catalina, it's going to take so long to get creep from there to the third. Reinforcing this when there's, like, just 4 gate 2 base doesn't even need +1 weapons. This is going to be so hard to deal with.
Well, unfortunately, Huck did not go for that. So he's going for a Stargate. He didn't get a Stalker. Like, you're right. Even the Zealot Stalker Militia Corps poke that you would do against someone who didn't get speedlings if you wanted to would have been hard to deal with. The Queens would have been slow. The Militia Corps would have gotten so many, like, you know, free hits. And yeah, but, you know, Huck decides not to go for that or 4-gate Forge plus Stargate. He could still certainly all in. And, of course, this is still a bad base to have just in general. It's so far away from the creep, but... In terms of early game, he's pretty safe right now.
Yeah, he backs off this too, so if he keeps the Zelda alive, doesn't want to over involve it. The Roach Horn coming out would be great if Huck was going for gateway aggression, but he's not. And this first, oh, it's actually Phoenix's. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not going for great aggression yet. But I wonder, you know, we always we used to bring it up as something that just never happened, but then it actually started to happen. So we have to bring it up as a very real possibility. Is what Huck is going to go for an all-in. He's up one game right now. He's probably feeling in a very good position. Bringing it all-in would not be totally out of the question at all, and you know, mix it up a little bit from your regular gateway all-ins for sure, and add some Phoenixes in there. We do see 2 more gateways get thrown down. We're gonna say there's 2 more above that, and it's like a definite for sure. Come on.
All right, so yeah, that is the thing, counting Phoenixes, right? 3 is not at all unreasonable. If you go for 5, you're definitely dictating that one particular set of the game. But what's really nice, and this is really complimentary of the tech, like had Jimrising come with some...
Oh yeah. 6 gateways.
Yeah. I was gonna say, had Jimrising come full force with like a ton of roaches, it's not difficult for Huck to just crank out a Void Ray, Persevenica line, and wreck everything on the ground. So I mean, he's got every tool necessary to fight Jimrising right now, and I got to tell you, it's not looking good for Jim.
Nope. Nope. Of course, one way you can tell as a player if this is going to be the all-in, besides obviously scouting as many freaking gateways as you can, is how much the Phoenixers are using their energy. Now, I just picked up a queen right there. So that's already, you know, okay, maybe she's trying to harass me. But, you know, Huck didn't go straight for the drone line. Sometimes we see them just send one Phoenix back to take care of an Overlord as opposed to sending all of them back to take care of that Overlord. But it's like such slight things. It could be, you know, it's not enough to really say, oh, it's the all-in. And so unfortunately, Jimrising getting drones right now. A Spore Crawler would actually be very helpful if it wasn't in the mineral line. If there was a second one, stay out in the with the army, it's actually very, very helpful against this all-in.
Phoenix is killing a Roach. Man, that takes a lot of shots. Considering they shoot twice. That armored value.
He's saving up a lot of money for the Hydras, it looks like. Hopefully stops droning. Stop droning. Stop droning! Okay, there we go.
So it's on the way to the 3rd.
Jimrising still has no idea this is happening, by the way. Like,
no, he's coming outside Huck's space. Like, he's thinking, I'm going to apply some pressure. Huck's not going to move out anytime soon, but wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. Here we go. Space. Spore Crawlers are nice, but they're not going to help at all versus this.
Yeah. Well, they're going to help, you know, if you can reposition them. They will help the Phoenixes not, you know, just pick up roaches for free. Of course, that's the last thing Jimrising has in his mind. Right now he's thinking, oh my god, I'm going to lose my 3rd without even defending it.
More predicting the Hydras coming down was actually fantastic there. Nice timing on that with the eggs hatching, but even though a lot of the drones do actually escape and not a lot die in this attack, Huck should still be able to kill the 3rd, and that's kind of the core point of this attack. Actually killing that 3rd.
Enough Hydras coming out right here to take care of the Phoenixes, and that is...
No, and the problem proceeds too, the fact that they'll pick them up, like as they funnel in one at a time. Phoenixes deal bonus damage versus light, they're going to shred those Hydras.
Yeah. Huck has to make sure that he does, okay, yeah, he does take care of that 3rd. In fact, he's going to follow us up with 2 more Stargates. So this is kind of a cool move. He could have probably followed this up with anything, actually. Like a Robo, good force field, definitely would have held up against any type of Roach Hydra army. But by going for double Stargate Void Rays, I don't think Jimrising will be expecting this. And it's such just a difficult composition to deal with. Mass Void Rays, that is. That's what Huck's going to be doing here.
Yeah, 3 Void Rays at a time is going to be some pretty crazy production. So here's the thing, like we always discuss, like, oh, a Protoss all-in. We make jokes, but the thing is, when a Protoss player wins like this, it looks like it's easy because of how hard it hits, but it really does rely on timings, and it's not just simply, you know, moving forward. And it's like I really like what Huck did this game, but I kind of fear that everyone looks at this and like, oh, well, he went Protoss all over Jimrising. What a surprise! Like, oh yeah, ooh, I don't know what happened over the camera. But the Void Rays.
They're going to be saying that harder when the Void Rays come into play.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're just going to accelerate and accentuate and make it just so much more gross.
Yeah. Just you wait and see. You'll think that Roach Hydra army looks like it has a good chance against all these Void Rays, and then nope.
I mean, the thing about this, too, a lot of people don't understand, like, the thought is, oh, Hydras are the counter to air units, Hydras are the counter to Void Rays. It's actually not the case because of how Void Rays, how fast they attack. What you're going to end up doing is 2-fold danger zone here. On one side, you get the Zealots and the fights to the Hydras, and they can kill the Zealots, no problem, but then they take the damage from the Void Rays, which again, you can't neglect for damage. And vice versa, you target the Void Rays, so the Zealots shred you underneath this. Not to mention there's going to be force fields holding everything in place, and none of this is going to go well for Jimrising. I'm trying to think of like what he could do right now to make this work for him, and I just can't think of a thing. Unless Huck move commands or something really dumb.
He could, you know, I'd say infestors are good. In fact, when Mass Void is a very common style, it used to come down to just, could you get a good fungal or not? Kind of made for either really climatic games or just really boring games, like neither in between. But it's just like the case of Jimrising getting a Spire right now. That's probably the worst thing he could do. Like even getting more Roach and Hydras would be better than just going up to Corruptors, because Corruptors ain't gonna do nothing.
Oh bother! This is
Oh dear! Oh dearie me!
This is. Did you see that movie with Steve Carell searching for a friend for the end of the world? I think it was called. Just
no.
Like you just like the world's coming to an end, but like what can you really do about it other than like have a good time?
So that's what Jimrising's doing?
Gonna be like, yeah, just throw a party with the roaches, man. Just don't even, like, they're gonna die anyways. Celebrate the life they had.
Huck being cautious in here. I mean, the one thing he could do is go into a perfect concave.
Oh, he's gonna try to run up the ramp and force through the bottom of it. Yep. Oh.
Yeah, and it works.
Prismatic alignment! Oh! Such a scary move. It does nothing with it, though, so never mind. Focus to the hatchery. He'll be able to force field off this ramp and just kill everything in the main. There's a recall too, no less. So I mean, this doesn't even have to be him losing everything. But will he go back and finish the lair? It's just barely gonna live with 5 freaking HP. One Void Ray could go in there and dive it. I think that's what he's gonna do. Segments went off to the side. Yep. Nope. What? Yep. Wrecked.
Oh.
That wasn't even like a second. It was like. Okay, this is sadly the end for Jimrising. But again, guys, fear not if you're Jimrising fans. He will be back on Sunday for the 4th place match. Sadly, though, will fall 3-1 to Huck here in the semifinals.
Yeah. He still has an army, which is probably the most infuriating thing about this game for him. He's gonna try and counterattack.
There's Void Rays, there's Zealots at home. There's just no way. Cannons are surprisingly good versus Hydralisks, too.
Well, cannon's just pretty darn good. I mean, let's talk about how they can detect and attack both ground and air.
Right? Blizzard. Like, what? That was the dynamic of StarCraft 2. Like, why did they have to make it so there's like such a up or down scenario? We'll call it StarCraft 2 is the game of elevators. Because you can go up or down. Not both.
Oh, Jimrising lost all of his bases.
Yeah,
Ew,
all the hatches have fallen. Good luck in the finals. Not even salty about his loss. GG. Huck will take this series.